Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 3-game CSGO main slate on Saturday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, and esports daily fantasy sports slates, esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and this one, Counter-Strike CSGO. So, also just want to say thank you guys for all support. We are continuing to grow on this YouTube channel. I believe we're at now 3.26 thousand subscribers. I know it's been a slower growth, obviously, with no sports, but we do have good news in that direction, right? We have NHL returning, we have NBA possibly or targeting the end of July for returns, so only 2 months away. And then obviously NFL looks good to start up on time, so we do have some positive stuff to look forward to. But until then, again, we're going to continue to grind out these esports videos. So thanks again, guys, for all the support, and let's jump in the video. Before we get into players and the prices for this 3-game slate, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup here from Friday's slate. Friday, I feel like it went really well if you watched the video yesterday. So this is my final lineup. Simple, Breeze, JKS, Cirque, Electronic, and Zywu. So I wanted to differentiate myself a little bit. The lineup had actually won the tournaments today in like the $33, the $100 tournament. It was the exact cash game lineup that I built. Like, I don't play cash games, but usually I try to build what I would think is the optimal lineup, and then from there I like to differentiate myself in one or two pieces. Right? That's normally how I will go about my roster construction, unless there's like maybe a big underdog that I feel good about or something like that. But normally, again, I try to build, what I think the ideal cash game lineup is, and then maybe move or differentiate myself in one or two spots. So literally the lineup I made was Simple, Electronic, and Zywu, and the 3-man 100 Thieves stack, which was JKS, Gratisfaction, and Jakeem. So, I figured, what? I know that's going to be a very popular approach. I know the 100 Thieves guys are going to be more popular. So I wanted to, again, I differentiate myself by going EG in a couple spots, Breeze and Cirque. And it was a sweat. First place was 489. I was at 476. Gratisfaction actually had he had a really good overtime. So if you had this lineup, which a lot of people did, a couple of viewers actually took down tournaments today. One on Draftkings, one on FanDuel. So congrats to you guys on your big wins. But yeah, Gratisfaction had a great overtime to push that lineup into first. But I was close, and I was unique. No one else had my lineup. So it was close. One guy did have the same score, but he had a different lineup. He had Ethan, Jakeem, and I had Breeze and Cirque. So again, what I did was I ate the chalk with Simple, Electronic, Zywu, and JKS, and then differentiate myself a little bit by going Breeze and Cirque. I thought that game could have went either way. I took a couple of the lower-owned options. It was close. I almost took down a tournament, but in the end, the chalk did prevail. So, like I said, feel pretty good about it. Hopefully, you guys had a good day. Hopefully, all you guys cashed. And let's see if we can continue this in for Saturday's slate. I guess we can look over the stats really quick. So on the Vitality side, they won pretty easily against Ennis, 2-0. Honestly, didn't really see that one coming. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a close game, but we had Zywu and RPK, the two top guys there. Everyone else in Ennis went negative. Alu and Jampy were the top two guys, even though they went negative, which is kind of expected. And then we can look at Na'Vi versus NIP. NIP once again struggled. That first map, Na'Vi destroyed them on 16-8. It was close for the second map, but they did prevail. Again, Simple, Electronic, I mentioned I knew they were going to be the chalk. I was going back to the well there just because their price tags were way too cheap. Again, Simple was about $1,000 too cheap. Electronic was like $1,500 too cheap. They were really chalky, but I was fine eating the chalk there. And the NIP side, the one-off, if you went that direction, you wanted was Knock. My issue always with NIP is they're a more balanced team, so trying to predict which one going off on a day-to-day basis is a little bit tough. And then lastly, we had the EG 100 Thieves game, and this is the game I mentioned getting 3 players in. So it went to overtime too, which did help. Nothing like really blew you away stats-wise, but because a lot of these guys had some nice clutches, right? Cirque had some nice clutches. Jakeem especially had like a couple 5 killers in there, I believe. JKS used a thumbnail of my video. Basically, the top 3 guys in each team, Cirque, Ethan, and Breeze, and then Jakeem, JKS, and Gratisfaction, all, way overperformed for their salaries. Again, everyone in this game was too cheap, so that's why I said get 3 players from this game. But, I think that really does it for the look back. I guess what we can do now is we can talk about players and their prices for this one. So we have a 3-game slate, and this one's an interesting one. The price points are a little bit... It's a little confusing because it's pretty easy to make a lineup, basically whoever you want in your lineup. The highest priced guy is far like at 8.4K. So, I think an interesting strategy here is definitely leave some money on the table. Leave $500, leave $1,000 on the table. I think that's certainly viable. But now, let's take a look at the odds before we get into players' prices. So we have Ninjas in Pajamas against NS. NS are minus 180 favorites. Godsend versus Team Spirit. Team Spirit actually the biggest favorites of the day at minus 235. I don't know. I think that one's almost a toss-up too, so I don't necessarily agree with those odds. And then Genji versus Cloud9. We have Genji slate favorites at minus 150. So all 3 games projected to be close. So again, this one should be an interesting slate. Let's talk about the first game. NS versus Ninjas in Pajamas. So because Ninjas in Pajamas has struggled the last 2 slates, they are going to be really low owned. And for that reason, that's going to make NS very popular in the slate. So I think, 2 of the more popular guys for this one are going to be Alu and Jampy. I think they're good plays. Alu he was in the 10K range a couple slates ago. Now he's 8.2K. He is way, way too cheap if you think NS are going to take this one, or are going to win this one. So I really like Alu. Again, he's going to be very, very popular. He also uses the AWP, which is a plus. So yeah, he would be someone if I'm looking for if I'm playing cash games tomorrow, I would probably include in my cash game lineup. I do like Jampy as well. He's a little bit of everyone was a letdown today for NS, but those are the 2 guys I feel the most confident in. Again, I know Jampy's only played a few games with this roster, but he looks pretty good. I think he's a guy that can perform consistently. So I do like him as well. I would prefer Alu if you're going to make me pick. The other options here: Sergey, Sunny, and Ariel. So these are all guys that I think are in play as well. And these are guys that are going to be really, really low owned for their prices. You almost don't have to play any value on the slate. Like maybe one guy in the 6 or 7K range, but that's really it. So getting to like a Sunny or Ariel it's going to be super contrarian. But I think it's an interesting build to leave some money on the table to really differentiate yourself. So those bottom 3 guys, Sergey, Sunny, and Ariel, I don't really have a strong lean with those guys, right? Ariel is slightly negative, Sergey slightly positive, Sunny slightly negative. So I guess Sergey, but he's going to be the most popular of those 3 because I guess he is the most expensive. So really, all in all, NS, this is a team I think is going to be pretty popular because of how bad Ninjas in Pajamas have struggled recently. So yeah, I think Alu, Jampy are 2 guys going to be pretty popular for cash games, and I do have interest in both those guys. On the Ninjas in Pajamas side, so this is a team that, again, is going to be one of the lowest owned, probably the lowest owned team on the slate, everyone here. If we're talking players and their prices, I think that the 2 guys that I guess stand out the most to me are Plopsky and Nock. I know Nock, right, he had the big game today. They have the best overall numbers. I feel the most confident with those 2 guys. Hampus is going to be a very contrarian play, in my opinion. Not saying he can't go off, but if you're just looking at his numbers, not great, right? 22 and 34, 20 and 41. So he's someone that, could always have you never know, but he's going to be someone I think is going to be like 1% owned, maybe less. So yeah, Plopsky, Nock, if I was going to go this route, would be the 2 guys I would look to. Rez is also viable too. And even Twist, right? This is a really balanced team. I think everyone has a positive case. I guess Twist is slightly negative. Rez is even. Again, Plopsky's positive. Nock's positive. And Hampus is slightly positive. But he's only played a couple of games with this roster. So the 2 guys I'll look to the most are Plopsky and Nock. I think these are 2 guys that are going to be really low owned. I would say below 10 to 15% probably. And we've seen anything can happen in CSGO. We've seen teams struggle and then come out the next game and completely dominate. We've seen huge upsets happen, right? We've seen, like teams that are plus 2,000 pull off upsets. So we've seen a lot bigger upsets. I know NIP have been struggling, but I still think there's a decent chance they can win this one, and you're going to get them at really, really low ownership due to how they've looked the last 2 games. Again, anything can really happen, and when a team gets going, right, if they win a couple rounds, you gain that confidence. You start playing a lot better. I mean, coming from someone, I've competed playing competitive gaming for a while. Once you kind of get in that groove, once you get a few rounds in a row, you really start to gain confidence, and then you can play a lot better. So if Ninjas in Pajamas get off to a hot start, you really could see them. I think they could win this game for sure. So Plopsky, Nock, 2 guys I would look to as more contrarian options. But yeah, I think this one, I think NIP could pull off the upset. Next game here, we have Team Spirit versus Godsent. So Team Spirit are the biggest favorites of the day at minus 235. For that reason, I think these guys are going to be very popular, especially Murr. He's going to be one of the chalkiest, if not the chalkiest play of the day. Now, the concern is, I just have to bring this up. That last game against FaZe, his computer had issues, and he was not able to complete it. They had to get a sub in. So you got to have that, I guess, in the back of your mind that I guess there's a very, very slim chance that could happen again. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I just thought I'd bring that up. He's got great numbers if we're looking at the last 3 months historically. 0.78 kills per round, 0.63 deaths per round. So you got to like Murr. Again, he's going to be very, very popular. Cash game, definitely a cash game target. Again, him, Alu, probably 2 staples in a cash game lineup if you're playing cash games tomorrow. The other players in this roster, Chopper, IDS Bounce, Sumdai Young, and Magic, I think are all in play as well. Now, IDIS Bounce looked really good after Murr had those computer issues. He took over that last game. I think he had like 35 kills that last map. So he flashed upside. Chopper's flashed upside. Really, all of these guys have flashed upside. So I think they're all in play. Chopper, 0.66 kills per round, 0.63 deaths per round. Sumdai Young, 0.68 and 0.59. IDS Bounce had that great game today, or the other game. 0.68 kills from 0.58 deaths round, and Magic's 0.66 and 0.62. All these guys are positive. All have flash upside. All have had recently 70, 80 fantasy point games. So this is a team I think is going to be popular. And, for their price points, I think the next 2 most popular guys are going to be Chopper and IDS Bounce. But I think Sumdai Young and Magic make for interesting contrarian plays. Again, leaving salary on the table in this slate is something you want to consider if you want to differentiate yourself, because it's pretty easy to make a lineup. It's pretty easy to get whoever you want in. You have to play maybe one guy in the 6 or 7K range, and that's about it. So, playing maybe a guy in the low 6 range or something like that, in the low 6K range, to kind of differentiate yourself is something that you can consider. So obviously, Mirror is my favorite play. He's going to be very popular. Again, for cash games, I think you play him. The other options, if you want to pair him with somebody, it's tough. I think all these guys have upside, so it's all about how do you want to go about it? I think Chopper and IDS Balance are probably going to be the next most popular. If you want to differentiate yourself, maybe go Sumdai Young and Magic. So that's kind of the breakdown there with Spirit. Let's move on to Godsent. So this is a team for their, if we're just looking at the odds, I think they're going to be also low owned. I don't think they're going to be as low owned as NIP, though. I think, some of these guys, like a Farlig, is going to be pretty popular because even in losing outings, he's had good games, like decent games, right? 56 and 59, where I believe they got 2-0 in both those. Could be, maybe it was 2-1, I forget. But he uses the AWP, which is a plus, and he has, recently was on Copenhagen Flames, now on Godsent. He really carried that Copenhagen Flames team. He's had games in the 90s and the 100s, so the upside is massive with this guy. I think he's one of the more talented players right now in CSGO. So I also really like Farlig, even though they're underdogs. I think you can pair him with Mirror on the opposite side if that's the way you want to go. The other options on the slate, Crystal is a cross-off to me at 4.2K. There's no point even considering him. You can differentiate yourself in other ways. So wouldn't even consider him. Zen, Styko, and Madden, I think, are all viable plays. They're 7K, 6.8, 6.6K, respectively. Again, Farlig is the guy that has the best numbers overall, but the rest of those 3 guys besides Crystal, Zen, 0.71 kills per round, 0.66 deaths per round, Styko, 0.7 and 0.67, and Madden, 0.72 and 0.7, are all pretty similar plays. Again, it's kind of like the team Spirit. I wish I could really say, oh, I really, really like this guy, but they're all pretty similar plays. So Yeah, if you want to pair one with Farlig, I think it's almost a toss-up with Zen, Styko, and Madden. I guess Zen is probably the most popular because he's the highest priced guy. But yeah, that's really my feeling there. I think those other three guys in the mid-tier range are all certainly in play. I think, again, this Godsent team is going to be low-owned besides Farlig. I think Farlig will garner some good ownership, but everyone else is going to be pretty low-owned, like those Ninjas and Pajamas guys. And lastly, we have C9, my team, versus Genji. So this C9 team normally doesn't let me down. That last slate, unfortunately, they did. If we're looking at the odds, we have Genji at slight favorites there at minus 150. So on the C9 side, for like the 100th straight time, my favorite play, yes, it's Floppy. He's too cheap at 7.6K if this is the route you want to go. If you want to target these C9 guys, I would probably start my lineup with Floppy. He hasn't had great numbers the last few games, but he's the guy that has the most upside in this team. He can get you close to 100 fantasy points when he's playing really well. And he's an aggressive player too, which I like. So I really like Floppy if you want to go this route. Again, I think these C9 guys will probably be a little bit lower owned. I don't think it's going to be crazy, but the Genji guys are going to be higher owned just because they are favorites. This one is a toss-up to me. Historically, I believe Cloud9, I think, actually has the advantage. 5 games to 3. So, yeah, it's a close one. OC, I like as well at 7.8K, and he uses the op. He had a really bad day the other game, but I think him and Floppy have the most upside in this team, definitely. JT is a cross-off. Again, I don't think we have to get unique there. We can look elsewhere. Sonic and MOTM are guys that do have upside games in them, right? Sonic put up a big map the other day. He's, has 70, 80. Put up 94 fantasy points there against Mad. MOTM is also a guy that has flash upside as well, right? I think he has like a 70 or a 97 there against Copenhagen Flames. So these are two guys that, consistently they're not going to put up big numbers, but they have it in them, and they're cheap, right? 6.2 and 5.8K. So I think these guys you can consider as very, very low-owned contrarian plays. And then lastly, we have Genji. So Genji, besides Daps, is a little bit hard to break down because they're another kind of balanced team. Automatic, 0.69 kills per round, 0.61 deaths per round. He uses the op, which, again, that's a plus. Kusta, 0.71 and 0.67. Psalm, 0.64 and 0.66. And Bentent at 0.69 and 0.64. So those other 4 guys, besides Daps, have all flash upside, have all had good games. And they're all pretty reasonably priced, right? Psalm's at 5.6K. I think he's a contrarian play. But again, if you want to leave money on the table to differentiate yourself, I think he's someone that's interesting. He's had big games for Genji, right? We've seen, I think, like 70, 80. He's had 80-point fantasy point game in there. So he's interesting. Again, more of a contrarian option if you want to leave money on the table. But yeah, Bennett, Automatic, and Kusta are all priced about the same and are all, again, pretty similar plays to me. I don't really have a strong lean either way. I usually, again, this is a personal thing, I usually go with Bentent if I'm going to play one of these guys. But Bentent, Kusta, and Automatic are all certainly viable and I think are interesting, right? This game, usually the last game is kind of the key game because everyone in that game is cheap. But this is different. Now we have everyone on the slate is underpriced. So, you're going to have, let's now talk about, the overview of the slate in general. You're going to have the top guys in the slate be very, very popular because, it's really easy to make a lineup. You don't really have to play any value plays. So for that reason, a lot of the top guys will be very, very popular. Farlig at 8.4 is going to be popular. I don't think he's going to be as popular as Alu and Mur, just because, again, they are the biggest favorites. So I would say the 2 most popular plays tomorrow are going to be Alu and Mur. Again, Farlig is going to be popular. I think Jampy will garner some ownership. Not going to be as high as Alu, but I think he'll be decently owned. Hampus is a guy that's probably going to be less than 1% owned. He's super, super contrarian about how bad he's looked the last 2 games. OC, I don't think he's going to be that high owned. Again, this C9 Gen G game, I think the ownership might go slightly to the Gen G side. So I don't think we're going to get super, super high owned guys. And those NIP guys are all going to be really, really low. And I think they're going to be the lowest owned team on the slate. Again, I already talked about liking Floppy. If you want to go to the Gen G side, I guess my favorite play would be Bentent. And then we get to some cheaper options, right? So these guys, a guy are going to be a little bit lower owned because it's really, really easy to to plug in whoever else you want in your lineup. So, some guys are interesting, obviously, like, again, IDS balance, right? A lot of those guys in the Spirit have upside. Those Godsend guys, right? They're going to be pretty low on because they're the biggest dogs in the slate. Even if we get really cheap, right? Magix has had some good games. Again, Sonic on MOTM, if that's the way you want to go, or Som. So, yeah, this slate is going to be pretty chalky because it's pretty easy to make a lineup, right? You can jam in, say, Farlow, Alu, Jampy, and Murr. You have 8.8K remaining. Sure, again, you had to play someone in the captain spot. You play someone, I don't know, in the 6K range, right? And then, or you get what I'm saying, right? The top guys are going to be really, really popular. So leaving some money on the table is an interesting strategy, I think, to differentiate yourself, and it's certainly viable. And as far as stacking and how I'm going to kind of attack these games, I'm thinking probably a 2-2-2. I might play on the Spirit Godsend side. I might play both Farley on one side and then Mirror on the other. That's something I'm definitely considering, and I think that's going to be pretty popular. The NS side, again, they're going to be really popular. Alu, I think Jampy will garner some ownership as well. If you want to differentiate yourself, maybe go a Ninjas and Pajamas stack and just hope they get it together, right? They're all going to be really, really low, and we've seen anything can happen. And that Genji's first Cloud9 side, I think that's game is almost a toss-up. Personally, I'll probably go C9 just because, that's just personal bias. They've won me a lot of money besides that last slate. But I think that one could go either way. There's good plays on both sides. So I think that is going to do it for the video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I really appreciate if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Again, hitting that notification bell does really help me out to be able to provide, continue to grind out these esports videos for you guys every single day for free. So thanks again, guys, for all support. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a good weekend. I believe there's no slate on Sunday. If there is, maybe I'll have a video, but I don't think there's going to be one. So yeah, good luck, guys. Hope you guys all have a good weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.